So why did the markets react the way they did today? Tonight's Market Monitor has some thoughts on that, as well as some top picks for you and me. He's Charles Carlson, and he is the CEO at Horizon Investment Services. He's coming to us this evening from Chicago. Welcome. It's nice to have you here, Chuck.
Nice to be back, sir.
What do you make of the way the market performed today? I found it very curious. We had this big kind of relief spike mid-session.
Well, I think you called it with a relief spike. The market had become oversold on a short-term basis. You had traders out there hearing the news, possibly what's coming out of Russia, not wanting to take positions into the weekend, and I think there was some short covering as well. And then finally, you know, markets do correct, but at some point those corrections end, and stocks are ready to resume their upward move. So, you know, we are at a point where you would expect a bounce. A bounce happened today. We'll have to see if there's follow-through next week. Yeah,
a bounce is one thing, but a resumption of an upward move, which was the reference you just made, is quite another. Do you think this is that turning point? You
know, this has more of a feel of less of a bottom conviction buying than short covering. Having said that, we still regard this as a correction within an ongoing bull market, and this correction has met the typical historical standards of a correction in terms of its duration and length. So, you know, maybe we haven't seen the bottom yet, but I think we're probably, you know, on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, you know, that 16,000 level seems like a pretty good support to me.
You've come up with a few ideas for our viewers tonight. Let's start with your first one, Halliburton. Why do you like it?
It's a group we like. It's a stock that continues to grow at double digits, both on the top and bottom line. You can buy that growth at what we believe are still reasonable values. And they're coming off a pretty solid quarter. And, you know, given this latest downturn, that stock's trading at a discount of about 8% to its 52-week high. So we just think from the standpoint this is a bull market. We think stocks will resume their upward trend. This is a quality stock that you can get now at a discount. You got to take advantage of it.
And a lot of people like you like that sector. Let's move to your next pick, which is Ameriprise Financial.
Ameriprise Financial is a nice demographic play. You've got, you know, continuing aging of America and the people looking at retirement and investing. Ameriprise has a nice position in that space. I like the dividend yield, which is about 1.9%. I can buy the stock at around 14 times its 2014 estimates. So again, it's that story where I'm getting double-digit top and bottom line growth and not overpaying for it, getting a dividend yield. And those are the types of stocks I think will do well when this upward trend resumes in earnest.
And finally, in another sector, Comcast.
Yeah, it's a cash machine. I like distribution companies. I also have content. I think the Time Warner cable deal is going to be a good one for them. They're coming off a very strong quarter. You get a nice dividend of 1.7%. So it's kind of that complete total return package in a company that has good operating momentum in an industry that I think can continue to do well and probably buck a fairly volatile market here.
Chuck, let me ask you one final thought on bonds, which Sue and I have been watching very closely. The year began with everybody saying bonds were going to go to 350, the 10-year, or 375, and they haven't. Why?
No, they haven't. Well, probably because everybody was expecting them to do that, and the markets have a tendency of not doing what everyone expects. I think the way we frame what to do in bonds right now is, quite honestly, if you can earn a little bit more in cash than you can in bonds, you own bonds. I don't think anybody's getting cheap or getting rich in the bond market, and I still think stocks relative to bonds are the place to be. But I don't think you're going to see a total washout in the bond market this year. And again, as a place to try to generate a return better than cash, I still think they have promise for that.
Chuck, thank you very much. Any disclosures before we let you go?
Yes, our company and our clients own all three of the companies that I mentioned.
Terrific. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Charles Carlson, CEO of Horizon Investment Services.